because he's also like, hey, I need you to be involved. This is a partnership. I am your father, your friend, your partner, all of it. And when it comes to your life, and especially when we talk about reaching our goals and being on a journey, we are in partnership with him, and he's the lead. Welcome to Storytime with Cerise.
Preview.
And now, let's all welcome your host, Cerise Thomas. I'm so excited you guys are here. Welcome. Want to make sure I didn't miss any new people. I know we've got Elvira and we've got Stephanie in the house. I saw y'all dancing with it, so I'm so excited to have you guys. All right, so let's get started. Last session, we were talking about being able to bite our tongue, knowing when to be in a season of listening, right? And we were talking about moving forward, that once we get into that season of listening and we pipe down a bit, right, that we also get into a season where we're able to listen to what God's doing in our own lives. Sometimes we are so busy offering communication and advice, and even to God, Lord, this is what I think I'm going to do next. And you are just constantly moving. And he's like, wait a minute, I didn't even tell you to take that step. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to get into a season of listening to even just getting in touch with what God is doing in your life. Because when we stop focusing on our own story, and this is what we were talking about last time, we start reading everybody else's. So we leave our book, we read everybody else's book, and then we start wondering why we're starting to feel things like envy, while we're starting to feel less valued, while we're starting to feel like we don't have a purpose because it's happening for everyone else. And the only reason is because our focus is elsewhere. We are not focusing on the story that God is writing. So it's almost like he picks up his pen because you pause the movie. He's not going to keep playing this adventure and these wonderful things that he has coming for you. You're not even watching. He's not going to keep writing and you ain't even reading. Because he's also like, hey, I need you to be involved. This is a partnership. I am your father, your friend, your partner, all of it. And when it comes to your life, and especially when we talk about reaching our goals and being on a journey, we are in partnership with him, and he's the lead. That's the key. Sometimes we think he's in the passenger seat and we feel like we're okay because we're safe because he's just on the boat. He's like, hey, I'm just not on the boat. I'm steering the ship. You got to let go of the wheel sometimes. And I know how that's going to feel, especially us ladies, as we are super women. Okay. We're like, let it go. Make a left. You ever have somebody in your car? Oh, make a left. There's a shortcut. You like, make a left. No, honey, we're going to go straight. I don't got time for no shortcuts that I ain't never seen before. I don't have time to go in a direction that we didn't talk about. Sometimes God will just pull a left. Go on and talk to I need you to go talk to this person. I need you to go talk to this person. You wasn't talking about this person last week. Where did you get that from? I need you to start praying. I need you to get up at 5 a.m. I need you to seek my face. Well, I thought we was good. 5 a.m. How about like 9:30? After everybody. So, we don't say these things consciously, right? A lot of our responses to God being in control of our journey and our stories we are not conscious of them. It's in we have subconscious responses that we have to be able to uproot if we are going to take a journey and God is the destination, because ultimately that is the true destination. It's not just reaching that goal. It's getting closer to him on another level. Okay, it's seeking him first, and then everything else gets added unto you. And that's what I just wanted to say before we open the floor, because as we talk about biting our tongue and being in a season of listening, these changes have to first be brought to the forefront. You cannot address a subconscious response if you are not conscious about it. You see what I'm saying? We have patterns and habits that we are so used. Some of the patterns and habits in us have been ingrained for years and years. And sometimes somebody might call it out and it just bothers you because you just say, huh? Somebody might say something about, you always do that. And you go home later and you're just like, I always do that? I didn't realize it. God doesn't hold us to fault for those things, but what he does do is as we get closer to him, he uproots those things and say, okay, here it is. So now we're conscious of it. What are we going to do now? So when we become conscious of our habits, That's when it's time for us to be held accountable. And he takes time, though, to uproot them. How do we uproot them? Well, we have to be able to have a true relationship with him. And when we wonder, why are we always stuck? If you have a goal, if you have a journey, whatever you're trying to reach, whatever you're trying to attain, and you just say, I keep trying and I keep doing it this way, but I keep finding myself in a stuck place, that's because we are not changing those habits and those patterns that we have. And many of them we are not conscious of. And God always provides opportunities for you to embark on a new journey. But that new journey many times actually always begins with breaking habits. New journeys require breaking old habits. New journeys equals breaking old habits. And we're going to learn to really carry the character of Christ. We have to consider that before we say, you know how we get excited? We hear the plan. God has revealed to us the next step. And I know I'm going to see, child. I've been pursuing weight loss with the new weight loss GLP-1 medicine, and it's been wonderful. But I learned very quickly that I had to do some work, that I had to break some habits. I just wanted to, take an injection and then wake up, and I wanted to be a supermodel. So I woke up, I took the injection, I woke up, I looked in the mirror, and I said, now, child, what happened? A month later, I did this. I said, okay, it's been a month. What happened? 2 months later, I said, not minus 2 pounds in 2 months. I mean, I'm not trying to get crazy with it, but so I said, I'm sitting here, why am I stuck that way? He said, you still got the same habits. I sent you the medicine as a support system, but you still got to do the work. And that goes for any journey. He may send you a person, you're trying to start a business. He may send you a financial breakthrough, so something that you can invest in, but you cannot have a financial breakthrough and also have old habits that will get you back in the same place, right? And it was just like a revelation. It's like, even though I knew this, I didn't realize how much my subconscious was taking over my next steps, right? We are creatures of habit, good or bad. And this is why we become so comfortable, because whether we want to believe it or not, we are creatures of habit, no matter what that is. And we get comfortable in places because it becomes a subconscious reaction. You may not realize it. Somebody might call you out on a personality trait that you're so used to and comfortable in, but maybe the second person that says it, you're like, wow, am I rude? Is my sarcasm rude? I didn't even realize that. And we can really disqualify ourselves if we allow ourselves to stay comfortable. We are a gold mine. God has created you with so many treasures. And do you know what you have to do with a treasure? You've got to dig. You've got to hunt. You've got to do the work. So if you want to get to that gold, you cannot just stay comfortable and say, okay, I've arrived. All right, well, this is just who I am. No, you are missing out on new levels of treasures that even you would be shocked by. Okay, so there's a book called Creatures of Habit. Breaking the habits holding you back from God's best. I was like, ooh, okay. And he says in the book is called Creatures of Habit. Oh, I can't remember the author. Creatures of Habit, Breaking the Habits Holding You Back from God's Best. That's the whole title. He says we underestimate the power of habits over our life. And this is what I was saying. We're creatures of habit, both good and bad, but we underestimate the habits that we're in. If we can't be a good listener, how can we ever be in a season of listening? If we just like to hear ourselves talk, how can we ever bite our tongue? Whatever that goal is or whatever it is that God is trying to move and change and cultivate in you, it starts here. It starts in the internal. And a habit begins, and I had to look up the definition, when you repeat a behavior enough times, it creates an unconscious, I've been saying subconscious, unconscious. It creates an unconscious pattern. Or in other words, it becomes second nature. You're like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that's just how I respond. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to snacking at this time. You didn't even realize you're snacking. If you got a child, oh my gosh, when my child eats, I eat. Oh my gosh, when I'm out, I do this. I don't even think it becomes second nature. And I think this just really stood out to me as we're diving to really decrease as God increases. I'm like, we can't decrease nothing when we've got a second nature of many habits that have to be dug up. All right. And each day you are either reinforcing those old habits or you're forming new ones. That's why every day his mercies are new. Why? Because we get an opportunity to actually begin digging out some of those old habits and starting new ones. And I cannot stress enough these two words: baby steps. Because if you are anything like me, and I've learned, I just want to jump in the pool and get the whole thing switched. Like I said, I want to wake up and say, well, look at the new me. Okay, what's next? That's how I am. My work ethic, my supervisors in the past have called me a taskmaster. I thought it was so funny. But as I really realized that even at home and even in my life, I'm the type of person where I don't like no task hanging over my head. If you give me something to do, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it well, but I'm also going to get it out the way. I was like that in school. My friends used to make fun of me because I would do my homework at lunch. I said, now, what am I walking around with homework for? Homework? What am I going home to work for? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I took that through college. If you gave me a paper, I started writing that paper right after class. It was fresh in my head. It was weighing on me. That's just how he created me, but also that can work against me when it's time to start a journey. That process that it takes to actually move forward, it just doesn't happen in a day. It just doesn't happen overnight. So you have to be patient. Okay, so I was like, wow, this is so good. This is what we talk about with Romans 12:22. I love it. It says, do not be conformed to the patterns, and in parentheses, or habits, because we just learned the definition, and I was just like, we talk about renewing the mind. And what he's saying is, don't get used to the patterns or habits. Renewing your mind brings the unconscious patterns to your conscious. And this is what we're talking about as we open the floor. We are no longer going to just sit in the dark with this thing. Being able to renew your mind, because that's where it begins. These habits begin with the thought. You wake up and you think about the next thing you're going to do. So sometimes you have to restructure what your life looks like daily until it gets there. It's so funny. I have this app and it's called Me. That's all it's called. Me. It's a purple heart if you want to look it up. And every day I decided, what should I be doing every day to better myself spiritually, physically, mentally? I put all this stuff down. By the next week, I was so discouraged. It was so much. I talked to my therapist and she said, you put all that stuff down? She said, girl, one thing at a time. Put one thing for 2 days a week. I said, one thing for 2 days a week? And then I noticed I downloaded this app a year ago. I wind up stopped looking at it. I gave it to God. And recently, because it notifies you, you can have notifications where it'll say, take a walk, do this, different things that I have tasks, do this, send this email, whatever the case is, just things that I wanted to better myself personally. And now it's crazy because I look at the notifications pop up and I'm like, wow, I did that. And it's become second nature. And I don't even know how I got there. But I do know it was because I clung to Jesus, and he saw my list and he said one thing at a time. And he did that. I went back and looked at it and I said, wow, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And I don't even realize it takes 21 days to form a new habit, they say. So think about after a year of pursuing it, because you go up and down. You start 2 days and then you fail. Then they say, yes, starts all over. It has to be 21 consistent days before that new habit can eventually become second nature. It took me a year to do some of the things. And I'm telling you, you talk about take a walk. There's some things where you're like, that should have been easy, right? So I really wanted to just share that with you. Renewing of the mind allows you to bring those unconscious patterns to the conscious so that you can identify. And how do you identify a good or bad habit? And I love in the book, he says, the habits that conflict with your desired identity, in other words, they conflict with you being Christ-like or who he's called you to be. Those are your bad habits. Simply put. And that could go from physical stuff if you have a weight loss goal, if you have a business goal, if you've got a relationship goal in romance, you've got to check some things. If it's simply not pointing you in the direction that Christ has called you to be, and that is a bad habit. Good habits are the ones that produce the fruits of the Spirit. And I love it because the fruits of the Spirit, where are we at? Galatians 5:22. Love, joy, peace within yourself as well, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. And I love this one, self-control. Long suffering is a fruit of the Spirit. I said, you sure? Yes. Because as you are on this journey, you can say, okay, that required self-control. But, I love it. I've got self-control now. I've got peace. That was uncomfortable for me to do because that's not like me, But now I've got peace, and those are the fruit of the Spirit. So I'm going to leave you guys with these two quotes, and then I want to open the floor because I want you guys to talk to me. Tony Horton and his intense exercise. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of Tony Horton and P90X. I'll tell you one thing for sure. Weight loss or no weight loss, I ain't doing no P90X. I say that now. If the Lord calls me, then sure, but I'm sure to hear him call me. But if he has called you to, it's like this intense workout. Man, miss me with that. I'm not there, right? But Tony Horton says, when you are trying to replace bad habits with, and he's talking about this in a obviously for the physical, healthy and exercise and nutrition. Tony encourages his devotees with the line, keep pressing play. In other words, on those days when you're tired and your muscles hurt and you just don't want to do the work, okay? And again, this could be any journey, and you rather just stay in bed or sit on that couch or just take a drive, keep pressing play. And what he discovered is that because a lot of these P90X exercise routines, you can take home and you can press play. And he said, most people that are tired will sit on the couch, but if you press play, all of a sudden the exercise starts, and the next thing you know, you're up and you're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna just do 2 minutes. And then you get to that 2, okay, I'm gonna push to 3. That is the power. And then you do that with God. I always like to say, you take 2 steps, God will take 5. I've seen him do that in my life. I'm trying to take my little 2 measly steps, and then I'll fall back 5 steps. And he said, here's another 5. That's my grace. That's my favor. But I'm so glad you took those 2 steps. Now be encouraged to take another 2 because I got you. And this is my last quote. Mark Twain. He once said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Back to that whole, just press play, guys. Sometimes we are so stuck. Well, how can I stop responding like that? How can I forgive this person? How can I we're looking so far ahead. Just get started. If forgiveness looks so far for you, then what will it take for you to just simply say, you know what? Once a week, I'm going to pray for that person for 5 seconds and I'm going to keep it moving. That's what it looks like. Baby steps. He said the secret of getting started is breaking the complex and overwhelming task into small, manageable tasks and then starting the first one. Again, back to weight loss. Yeah, I got like 10 tasks because I got a ways to go. But recently, I reached the middle of my task. I've got 10 goals, and I had to break them up so small because I had so much to lose. And I just recently reached goal 5 of 10. All glory to God. And all I had to change my verbiage because I would say, oh, yeah, but I got so much more to go. Oh, yeah, we just get so focused on where we're headed that we don't pat ourselves on the back for where we've come from. And that can disqualify us from moving forward even more because we just feel like I just got so much to go. And you're not saying, wow, a year ago, you couldn't have told me that this would be me. And that's for anything that goes for. So my personal journey that I'm comparing to all of this with weight loss and the Ozempic and the working out and the changing my eating habits, I had to learn that I had to give myself grace with goals. You got goals, but if you don't have grace with it, what are we doing here? Jesus created habits, and those he touched, he showed grace to, and he provided them with new goals. The woman at the well, the woman with many husbands. He's like, all right, stop. Now I need you to go. And he would always tell them, I got the woman at the well. Where's my, hold on. I wrote it down here somewhere. The woman at the well, the fisherman, he said, okay, now go be fishers of men. He will give you a new goal that changes your life, right? And then when Jesus was standing there, they was like, huh? And he's like, put the net on the other side. Boom, overflowing. They took 2 steps. All they had to do was put that empty net. It wasn't even heavy on the other side, the baby step. And he overflowed their nets. 5 steps he took, they took 1 little step. So be encouraged as we think about these things and we try to change our mindsets. God is not trying to take away your amazing personality. He's trying to make you God's best. He's like, I've given you this amazing personality, but there's certain things that are getting in the way that you don't realizing that are overshadowing the treasure that I've placed in you. And I need you to dig. I need you to find that treasure, reform those patterns, follow me, and give yourself grace in those goals. All right. So no matter what it is, you have to be able to do that. Even on a journey like weight loss, I learned that I can't get my body right until I get what's right going on inside. My weight loss had to start internally. Thoughts that I had to lose, emotions that I had to lose, a negative narrative about myself, I had to lose that weight. I had to lose internal rate. And guess what? That goes for any goal you're trying to achieve. He's not going to open that business for you until you lose that weight inside that is weighing you down and blocking you. So that was a big revelation for me. I said, forget physical. I've got so much weight on the inside, which is why I'm in this place. And I didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying? So I really realized that discipline yourself for the purpose of godliness, for bodily discipline is only of little profit, but godliness is profitable for all things. If you can't get it right inside, it doesn't matter about anything that's going on. You're trying to change this. You're trying to go forgiveness. You're trying to change the way you respond to people, right? Since it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. Because the truth of the matter is, it's not about how we look. It's about us simply having longevity. Let me just be clear. My weight loss is not for vanity. Vanity is fun. But every 3 months, I'm getting my blood test because I'm like, yes, I brought my glucose down. Yes, I can stop taking high blood pressure medicine. I'm 37. I've been on blood pressure medicine since I gave birth. I said, this ain't it. This ain't it. If I've got a mission and God's got a purpose for me, I'm just squashing that, right? So, and I'm just being transparent with y'all. Child, just putting my whole business out there. But y'all my sisters, because I didn't cry last time. I don't know what y'all. So discipline yourself and start on the inside, and my father's in town visiting us this week. And last night we were sitting and he said, when you're trying to change or you're trying to reach a goal, I loved what he said. It's like trying to repaint an entire house. You've got so many rooms and even in one room, there's 4 walls. I learned that the hard way. I got all excited. Let's paint. Child, I did one little corner of the section. I said, I'm done with this. When I was pregnant, it could have been the hormones too. But I love what he said. And it goes back to what Mark Twain said. In order to actually, don't look at trying to paint the whole house. Don't even try to paint the one wall. He said, when you get discouraged, open the paint can. He said, you'll open the paint can, you'll look at the paint, then you'll get you'll get the brush, then maybe you'll just start a little bit, and then you just keep going. You keep going. There is power in starting that baby step. And don't underestimate that baby step. That baby step is probably the most important part, not the destination. And then the journey changes you. So you give yourself grace as you get there. Okay, so creating these new habits in life, whether it be weight loss, a new business, financial freedom, relationship restoration, removing darkness and depression, anxiety, because I had to deal with that. A lot of depression and anxiety I dealt with. And it still tries to knock on my door, but I have new habits that I know how to keep it out. Only we let that stuff in. That requires a season of listening and reading your own story. You can't even take that baby step. You can't even begin to listen. You can't even bite your tongue because you're so busy talking, trying to do it. And you can't even celebrate other people because you're comparing so much because you stopped reading your story. So be inspired so that you can have a seasoning of listening and celebration versus speaking and doing it all and envy. Let's turn it around. Let's turn it around. Everything. And I even said to my mother the other day, I said, look, even on this weight loss journey, I have had some serious weaknesses. I have fell off all the way, just driving by, minding my business. And then boom, a Cinnabon store. When they put that Cinnabon store there, okay? I don't know if y'all know when you go to the gym, there's a pizza store right next to. Now, who did that? Whose plaza is this? I said, hello? Hi. Is this the community plaza councilman? Why do you have a pizza store next to the gym? You know, it's just things like that. I have fell off. But I said, as I've grown and grown, my deep end looks different. I fall less deeper and deeper, if that makes sense. And that is having grace with your goals. You may fall, but you know, you may not fall as deep next time. So you got to keep pushing. Don't beat yourself up. I don't even know why they got Cinnabon out here. You know? No, I'm not crying. Imagine if there's something to cry about, something to cry about when you want a Cinnabon. Okay, Cinnabon must have opened in 1986. What's it still here for? I'm sorry. So be encouraged, ladies. Be inspired. You got this. It takes habit. So I want to see these hands raising. I'm going to stop recording. But just understand, in order, you start saying, like, I don't know if I can do that forgiveness. I don't know if I can take that. Focus on the baby step. What is God telling you to do? All right. What is God telling you to do? And how can you allow those patterns / habits to begin to reform your mind, reform your thinking, and ultimately reform your world? You will look in the mirror one day and see someone different, not physically. Okay? That actually just starts to show. You ever see someone that just looks like they got so much going on, and it starts to show physically? You look tired. Ladies, y'all know you're not supposed to tell people you look tired, but maybe you're thinking, you look tired. You know, maybe because they've been carrying a lot of internal weight. So release the weight internally. And then all of a sudden, you can really, that baby step and those next steps look so much easier. It's like walking around with 10 sandbags. And the moment you release those sandbags, you're like, all right, maybe I can cross this bridge. It looked really, I don't know why, it looked so much harder before, but now I can speak to this person. Now I can have a conversation about this topic without being disturbed and without getting depressed and without getting anxiety. I don't know what's different. You're different because you decided to make those unconscious thoughts, bring them to that level of consciousness so that then you can change, attack, reform, give them to God, let them replace it, and go back out. That's what he wants you to do. The enemy wants to keep you in a place of unconscious habits. Things that you do that's second nature that you don't even realize anymore. The enemy wants to keep that in the dark. But the closer you get to God, the brighter the light gets. And then you start to see things, and he may say it through someone, and you may not like it. Especially when something's second nature, it's a part of you. That's like talking about my child. Don't talk about my child. You know, I'm learning now. You go to the teacher and they're like, you know, Persha, she was a little feisty today. Feisty? Not my baby. Then she come home. No, mommy, I don't want to. I was like, okay, I ain't going to be that parent. I said, we're going to nip this in the butt. We sure did. I said, you don't talk to people like that. However, when you have something that's a part of who you are, you're like, you can get very offended, very insecure when somebody calls it out or when God just kind of surfaces that. You know, you're just like, ooh, ouch. Okay, that hurt. Now what? Let's get to the gold. Let's get to the treasure. Like I said, there's so much treasure inside of you, but you got to dig through the dirt. And we got to get to the treasure. But if we get stuck with the dirt, this too much. I don't want you to take that. We will never really be able to truly see God's best for our lives. So, well, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, ladies. What's going on? Talk to me. We here. Let me know what you think. What are you struggling? You struggling with biting your tongue? What are you struggling with?